Hello everyone and welcome. Today we're gonna talk about what really happened to my Folio Society collection and why I don't have many Folio Society books anymore. But we're gonna start off with some introduction to this whole video and why I want to talk about it. I'm in the early stages of a move right now, and so you can probably tell that my shelf is looking a bit, a bit empty, especially in the lower parts, and that's because I'm just packing my books into boxes, and I've started with my cheap paperbacks and things like that. And I think I'm gonna keep the more expensive books on the shelf for until I get closer to the move. But yeah, I'm in the early stages of the move, and just thinking about my collection, I'm looking at the books, and I did started noticing that, wow, I do not have many Folio Society books anymore. And I started looking at my, I keep like a spreadsheet on my computer with every single book that I own. So I have pretty good, I know how many books I own. I know what publishers they are. So I own about 300 books, and only about 35 of those books are from the Folio Society. And that's a huge decrease on Folio Society books compared to what I used to own. And honestly, about 10 or 15 of those 35 books are actually books I want to keep for the future. So yeah, there's a huge decrease in my own collection when it comes to Folio Society books. And I also checked that I made about 180 videos on my channel where I present or talk about Folio Society books. So you can say that I probably owned maximum of 180 titles in the past, and now I only own 35. So why did this happen? Why have I stopped buying Folio Society books? Why have I sold so many Folio Society books? That's what I'm gonna talk about right now. So why did I stop buying Folio Society books? The main reason is quite obvious to most people, and that is the price increase that has happened in the whole world for everything, but especially for Folio Society books. And I just can't justify buying most new titles from the Folio Society. They are just so expensive, and that added with expensive shipping costs, expensive custom taxes and fees, especially after Brexit. It's not justifiable anymore to buy every other month buy new Folio Society books. So that's pretty much a major reason for why I stopped. It's just the overall price increase of the books on the Folio Society site, and I know that it's probably gonna hurt Folio Society a lot, and that's why they are changing their the types of books that they are publishing. They want to try to bring in new people into the Folio Society, and I don't know if it's good, but if it keeps Folio Society alive, then that's fine. But also another major reason has been my own change in interest. I'm not reading as many fantasy books and science fiction books and modern fiction. So naturally, I'm not buying as many new Folio Society books anymore, because they tend to publish a lot of just that, a lot of sci-fi, a lot of fantasy and modern fiction. A lot of crime, and I'm not really into that, and I do not read as much fantasy and science fiction. If this was a couple of years ago, then I would probably so interested in all of these new books that the Folio Society is releasing. But I have changed a lot since I started making this channel and started making videos on Folio Society books. So that's a big reason for why I'm not buying much anymore. Another reason is my own interest in the secondhand market. I really enjoy looking and hunting for old Folio Society books that are interesting to me. And so when you are waiting for a book to pop up on the secondhand market, it can take some time. especially since a lot of people try to, hike up the price a bit. It can be quite expensive for some editions if they are rare and that are very popular. So it can take time, and if it takes time, then I'm just gonna show less books on here because I'm not buying as many anymore. And I think it's a fourth reason for why I'm not buying as many full size books is the sales are not that good anymore, and they are not that interesting to me anymore. The Full Society sales are usually around New Year and around the summer. And in the past years, I just don't think they have been very good. And when they have these sales in the past, I would still buy a lot of editions. I think that didn't really interest me, but I just bought because they were so cheap. That I don't do that anymore. So if I don't buy books from sales, I'm gonna buy less Full Society books. And that's just how it is. I am not interested in the majority of the selection Full Society has today, and so that's how it is, and that's why I have stopped buying Full Society books pretty much. And so the second question to answer is, why did I sell many of my Full Society books? I went from owning over 100, almost 200 Full Society books, and now I only own 35. The main reason for this is that I only want to collect books that I love, that I want to reread, that I think have a significant importance to me. And a lot of the books I own by the Full Society weren't those types of books. And so I sold a lot of books that I just never saw myself reading. I never... I didn't really have a reason to own these books because I didn't just want them to have them on my shelf. I wanted to own books that I loved and that I wanted to read. So that's just a change in book collecting philosophy, really. It's just a way. It's just a new way I want to collect books. I want to collect books that I love, that I want to reread, and that is especially true to more expensive editions like the Folio Society. Because if you want to collect Folio Society, you should probably not buy everything, because that is gonna be quite expensive. So that's pretty much the major reason. Another factor is that I a few years ago decided to, if I want to buy new books, I had to sell books, mainly because I have a limited space. I think a lot of you can relate to that. So it just happened to be that a lot of Full Society books I owned, I sold them to buy other books, and since I owned so many Full Society books, a lot of those books were books that I didn't love and that I didn't want to read or collect or reread, or that I didn't find had any importance to me and to my life, and so I sold them and bought other editions instead. And oftentimes I would sell a Full Society books and replace that book with a book from another publisher, which means my Full Society collection is going down while other books are, going up. That's just how it will be in that case. So those two are the main reasons to why I sold so many of the books. Just I didn't find any need or reason to have them on my shelf if I'm not gonna read them. That's just how it's just that simple, really. So yeah. So the last point I want to talk about, and the conclusion to this video, is what will happen in the future. Will I stop showing Folio Society on my channel? And honestly, it's quite a big possibility that I will drastically just lower the amount of Full Society videos in the future. Perhaps not stop fully, but in the future I can see myself making 1 or 2 per year. Because the Folio Society isn't publishing the books I'm interested in. And the amount of books on the secondhand market that I want to own and I want to buy for a good price is not that high also, although there's such a large catalog, so I'm sure I haven't found a majority of the books that would interest me in the Full Society collection, but yeah. And if you have watched a lot of my videos, you know that I am leaning a lot towards the religious, spiritual, and that I love mythology, and especially mythology and religion in Asia, East Asia, Japan, China, and India. And I have a deep love and respect for the mystics of Christianity and the heretics of Christianity. So, and also, European ancient religions from, Greece and Norse religion and mythology. So those are the general areas of what I want to collect and what I want to show in the future. So unless Folio Society, is starting to lean a bit more towards those kinds of work, if they don't, then I'm not gonna buy as many Full Society books in the future. That's just how it's gonna be. But if they publish a new lovely edition of the Iliad or the Odyssey or the Poetic or Prose Edda, or publishing the Mahabharata or the Ramayana, that would be just stunning. I would get those kinds of books in a heartbeat. So if anyone from the Full Society is listening, please get more into mythology, the ancient epics, the stories of India, of China, of Japan, of Greece, Rome, the Celtic mythologies. Yeah, there's so much that I want to collect, and if Full Society published them, I would definitely buy them. So yeah, and also I just hope to show more vintage Full Society. I'm sure there's a lot of books out there that are waiting for me and that I want to get. So if I show a lot more, vintage Folio books in the future, then that will make me happy, and I'm sure a lot of you would be interested in that as well. But yeah, that has been the video. I want to thank you all so much for watching. What is your own opinion on modern Full Society? Do you have the same feeling as me? If so, please leave a comment and tell me how you feel. But thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to see you all next time. Goodbye!